The Wrath of the Khan. As the 9th century dawned, the morning mists over the Balkans did not bring peace, but the heavy scent of iron and impending storm. The fragile survival of the previous century had hardened into something far more formidable. Beneath the shadow of the Haemus Mountains, the Bulgarian state was no longer a mere collection of disparate tribes clinging to the Danube's edge. It had become a coiled spring, ready to snap against the ancient hegemony of the East. At the center of this transformation stood a figure of terrifying resolve, Khan Krum. A leader of singular vision and ruthless efficiency, Krum looked upon the fractured plains of Europe and saw not obstacles, but the clay from which a centralized military machine could be molded. The stakes were existential. To the south, the Byzantine Empire, now under the energetic but arrogant rule of Emperor Nicephorus I, viewed the rising Bulgarian power as an intolerable stain on Roman prestige. Nicephorus sought not just a victory, but the total annihilation of the Bulgar capital and the erasure of their lineage from history. Yet Krum was a strategist who understood that an empire is built as much on discipline as it is on conquest. He began to dismantle the old tribal loyalties, replacing them with a singular devotion to the state and a draconian set of laws that would govern every aspect of life, from the battlefield to the village hearth. The air grew thick with the tension of two titans on a collision course, as the sublime Khan prepared to lead his horsemen into a conflict that would either see his people shattered or their name whispered in terror within the gilded halls of Constantinople. In the summer of 811, the storm finally broke. Emperor Nicephorus I, leading a massive host of nearly 80,000 men, bypassed the Bulgarian border defenses and struck directly at the heart of the realm. Pliska, the capital, was put to the sword. Its palaces were looted and its residents massacred as the emperor boasted of his total triumph. But Krum, retreating into the rugged heights of the Balkan passes, was not defeated. He was calculating. As the Byzantines, weighed down by plunder and overconfidence, began their return march through the narrow, treacherous defiles of the Verbitsa Pass, they found their path suddenly blocked by massive wooden palisades and iron-willed Bulgar warriors. The trap snapped shut with a violence that echoed through the mountain crags. In the pre-dawn darkness of July 26th, the Bulgars descended from the heights. The Byzantine camp became a slaughterhouse. Trapped between the barricades and the relentless charge of Krum's cavalry, the imperial army disintegrated into a panicked mass. Nicephorus, the autocrat of the Romans, found no dignity in his final moments. He was cut down amidst the chaos of his collapsing ranks. This was a moment unparalleled in the annals of the Middle Ages. A Roman emperor had fallen on the field of battle against a barbarian foe for the first time in 4 centuries. Yet, for Krum, the death of his enemy was not enough to satisfy the demands of his rising empire. He required a lasting monument to this humiliation. The aftermath of the Battle of Pliska was not merely a military victory. It was a psychological earthquake that shifted the tectonic plates of European power. To cement this triumph, Krum took the skull of Nicephorus, cleaned it, and had it encased in shimmering silver. By drinking from the head of the Roman emperor during state banquets, Krum sent a chillingly clear message to the world. Bulgaria was no longer a neighbor to be managed, but an existential threat that had decapitated the Roman eagle. This grisly trophy served as the grim centerpiece of a new, centralized authority. Krum utilized this moment of supreme prestige to enact Krum's laws, the first written legal code in Bulgarian history. These were not mere suggestions. They were a fierce mandate against poverty, theft, and drunkenness, designed to forge a social cohesion as unbreakable as his shield wall. The era of Krum saw the Bulgarian borders surge outward, reaching the Carpathians to the north and the very gates of Constantinople to the south. He transformed a tribal confederation into a sophisticated medieval state, a bureaucratic and military machine that could sustain itself long after the Han's own heartbeat ceased. Through blood, silver, and stone, Krum had elevated his people from the status of nomadic outsiders to the masters of the Balkan heartland. As the sun set on his reign, he left behind a realm that was organized, feared, and spiritually poised for its next great evolution. The foundations of the state were now solid, but the soul of the people was about to undergo a transformation that even Krum could not have envisioned. Thus, the iron laws of the Khan paved the way for a spiritual revolution that would exchange the sword of the pagan for the cross of the convert.